Morning, folks. Welcome back to the Horde. I just opened this up, so it's about 10:30, the 30th, last day of March, or last day of April, and Tuesday, 55 degrees out. Sunny day here in the Hudson Valley. There you go. Get to see the beautiful sky. Nice day. I like 55 degrees. Good temperature for me. And my batteries are all charged up. Battery. I scheduled 29 there. Anyway, so what am I up to today? My wife wants the driveway cleared off so she can enjoy some of the plantings she has on the side of the driveway. So to do that, I like to drive these bikes off the driveway rather than push them or pull them or put them on a trailer and haul them. So we already know the TRX 200 runs. That guy runs. This guy runs, but the rear end's seized. That guy's got a head problem, which leaves us Big Red. Here we are on Big Red. I have to be honest with you. I'm an electrical engineer. I have a degree in electrical engineering, a BS in electrical engineering. And when I walk up to a wiring situation and I look at this kind of stuff, I have to tell you, I avoid it. It triggers a walk away comment. At work, when I see stuff like this, I tell management, what are we doing here? We're going to have trouble. I got to be 100% honest with you. At work, I just walk away from these things. I say, whoever created this, excuse the expression, abortion, should fix this abortion, because, unless I start rewiring right from the beginning, I just hate the looks of this. And the character who was involved with this thing, from upstate, really had no clue what he was up to. I'm not picking on kids. Some kids are pretty good electrically and all. Some kids know what they're doing with these things. This kid was not an example of that. This was the one that came down from Saratoga. This was the 260-mile round-trip bike. I got it. I got a decent deal on it. I basically bought it for what it would have cost me for parts. Right? A rear end. You saw I just spent a couple $100 for one of those. An engine. Starter. The numbers are right through the sky. But anyway, once again, I avoid these things, but looks like the avoidance is over. I got enough fool around. I got to work my way through it. I got to figure it out. And if I got to buy another CDI or something, so be it. The good thing about grinding through this is I also have that what's called Easy Go workhorse that has an ignition problem, and it too has a CDI ignition. And once you get through the general concepts of these things, flywheel goes around and makes a pulse. Look at the pulse as a gigantic wave. The gigantic wave goes to the CDI, and part of the CDI stores that energy, that pulse, to turn into a spark, right? So that's the first part. Look at the CDI as, first of all, a storage unit. The second thing about a CDI, capacitive discharge ignition, is it's looking for something to trigger it at the right moment, something to trigger it, and then it sends that pulse to the coil. And the coil is what takes the voltage of, let's say, 100 volts, and it pumps it up to 100,000 volts, and that 100,000 volts is your spark. So the whole concept is easy, simple as could be, but one has to grind through these wires and make sure that the CDI is hooked up properly, and that the wires coming out of the engine, wherever they are, here they are, right? The wires coming out of the engine are hooked up. And some things I just don't like seeing. I don't know if you guys could see it on the screen here. You see that hole right there on that red wire? You got to ask yourself the question, did somebody put that little hole there because they were probing it for continuity? Or is that little hole there because now the copper is corroded and we no longer have a connection, which means you can spend, once again, all day fooling around with this thing, and now you have a hole in the wire, and that's where your trouble is. So there's only one way to get through this thing. You got to go through each component one at a time. You got to check the CDI. I'm going to take the key switch and remove it from the equation. Once again, removing variables are good. I'm also going to remove the on-off switch from the equation. I'm just going to, remember, for the switch, you just hook red and black together, float the black wire with the white, and I think they've already done that. Well, this is the switch, so one just has to hook these two together on wherever it is on the harness, or I guess over here. So these two got to get hooked together, and I got to fish these wires out to make sure they're floating. So that'll remove the switch. I'm also going to remove the off part of this, which, once again, I got to dope through these wires to make sure I do that. So once those are removed, I'm also seeing that he wasn't very good about hooking up grounds anywhere. That's bad, because if you don't hook up the ground to the motor, it's good that the hot's hooked up, or the positive end of the pulse is hooked up, but if you don't have the ground, you have nothing. The positive end of the pulse is lifted above, right? So you really don't have anything. So anyway, I've babbled about 8 minutes to avoid getting into this. I just got to stop fooling around and do it. So wish me good luck, and if you see a video of this thing running, you'll know I was successful. If you don't, you know I'm still futzing with this thing. Alright folks, live, love, and have a great time. Remember, tires down, handlebars up, and when you buy one of these classic messes, remember to get a schematic. Print it out, get your schematic. Thanks folks.